So my name is KarenThorneStone, and I am the President and CEO of the Ontario Media Development Corporation. So the Ontario Media Development Corporation is a Crown agency of the Province of Ontario. We report through the Ministry of Culture, but our mandate is essentially an economic development one. So our objectives are around creating jobs and growing strong companies in Ontario, and specifically we work with what we call the cultural media industries, and there are 6 of them in our definition. So it's book publishing and magazine publishing, sound recording, film, television, and interactive digital media. And probably even 5 years ago, those were fairly distinct sectors, and more they're starting to blur together. So in terms of OMDC's programs, we function in a number of ways. We're the administrator of the tax credits for the province, so there's a number of tax credits, a couple of which particularly are supportive to the digital media industries and the gaming industry specifically. And then we have some direct investment funds that help companies either with their development activities or to market projects and that sort of thing. And I guess the other thing I would say about OMDC is we have a unique position because of the number of sectors that we support, that we're also able to serve kind of a collaboration facilitation role in terms of introducing companies to one another and stimulating some new non-traditional partnerships across sectors. Well, as I say, we've been the beneficiary of a real government commitment to this sector. So a year or so ago now, they made a commitment to our Interactive Digital Media Fund that they would fund it for the next 4 years and at an increased level. So that's been great news for us at sort of $2 million a year, and we know that there's a commitment to that into the future. We've had some pilot programs around video game prototyping and screen-based content creation, and the new program that you're speaking about is the Intellectual Property Development Fund, which we'll be launching in the fall. That's also a pilot program, but what it's designed to do is to put some funding in the system at the very early end of that development chain, because generally our funding goes into sort of later stage development and production activities, and at this point the government is recognizing that it's important to have lots of ideas in the hopper in order to have, you know, a few gems come out the other end. So that's an exciting new area for us. And then of course there's been significant enhancements to our interactive digital media tax credit over the course of the last year, both in terms of the rate and the broadening of eligibility and annual filing announced last week. So all of those are significant supports for the sector, and I hope that as a package that's a good financing tools to help those companies do what they need to do. Well, I mean, there's no question that Ontario's economy is changing. The makeup of the economy is changing. I think we're very lucky in this province in that the government has identified the entertainment and creative cluster broadly and digital media specifically as a high priority for them. So they've put a focus there, and OMDC and the sectors that we support have been able, obviously, to take advantage of that. It's meant for us an increase in funding and a long-term commitment to the digital media industries. I think we recognize the importance, the economic importance of these sectors to Ontario. The gaming industry alone is growing, you know, at, I don't know, 12–15% annually, and the Canadian share of the market of the North American and the worldwide market is growing rapidly, and it's important for us to make sure that we're in a leadership position, and that we take full advantage of the opportunity to strengthen the companies that we've got here and help them build their international network and profile and recognition. We certainly recognize the importance of co-location and geographic proximity to sparking new ideas, but I don't think that means that a cluster needs to be entirely limited to a single cluster within the province. So certainly in Ontario we have strengths in the Ottawa and Gatineau area, by the way, so there's a certain amount of crossover between the provinces there, and in that area, I'd say the focus is largely on animation, and that's where some of the strengths are in Ontario. Obviously, there's significant cluster in many of our sectors, by the way, in the Ontario area. But then there's also sort of the Waterloo corridor as well, where RIM is based, and so there's also the complementary aspects of the technology and the content, and one can't exist without the other. So we see strengths, generating, naturally generating, organically generating in a variety of areas in the province, and we're trying to support those as they grow.